So the summary of the ecology, right? As a branch of biology, ecology is the study of the relationships of living organisms with the abiotic, that is physico-chemical factors. And okay, so as biology, ecology is the study of the relationships of living organisms with the abiotic, that is physico-chemical factors, and biotic components, that is other species of the environment, of their environment, right? So it is the living organisms with abiotic physico-chemical factors and biotic components, that is other species for their environment. So abiotic, that is physico-chemical factors, and biotic, that is other species, right, of their environment. Now it is concerned with four levels of biological organization, that is organisms, populations, communities, and biomes. So ecology is concerned with four levels of biological organization: organisms, population, communities, and biomes. So evolutionary changes through natural selection takes place at the population level, and hence population ecology is an important area of ecology. A population is a group of individuals of a given species sharing or competing for similar resources in a defined geographical area. Populations have attributes that individual organisms do not: birth rates and death rates, sex ratio, and age distribution. The proportion of different age groups of males and females in a population is often represented graphically as age pyramid. Its shape indicates whether a population is stationary, growing, or declining. Ecological effects of any factors on a population are generally reflected in its size, that is population density, which may be expressed in different ways: numbers, biomes, percent cover, depending on the species. Populations grow through births and immigrations and decline through deaths and immigrations. Populations grow through births and immigration and decline through deaths and immigration. When resources are unlimited, the growth is usually exponential, but when resources become progressively limiting, the growth pattern turns logistic. In either case, growth is ultimately limited by the carrying capacity of the environment. The intrinsic rate of natural increase R is a measure of the inherent potential of a population to grow. In natural, populations of different species in a habitat do not live in isolation but interacts in many ways. In nature, populations of different species in a habitat do not live in isolation but interact in many ways. Depending on the outcome, these interactions between two species are classified in as competition. Both species suffer predation and parasitism. One benefits and other suffers. Commensalism, one benefits and other is unaffected. Commensalism, one is harm and other unaffected. And mutualism, both species benefit. Predation is a very important process through which trophic energy transfer is facilitated, and some predators help in controlling their prey populations. So in predation, trophic energy transfer and some predators help in controlling their prey populations. Plants evolved Plants have evolved diverse morphological and chemical defenses against herbivory, animals that eat plants. In competition, it is presumed that the superior competitor eliminates the inferior one, the competitive exclusion principle, but many closely related species have evolved various mechanisms which facilitate their coexistence. Some of the most fascinating cases of mutualism in nature are seen in plant-pollinator interaction. So mutualism between plants and pollinators. Yeah, orchids and bees, right? Bumblebees. So list the attributes that populations possess but not individuals: death rates, birth rates, sex ratio, and age distribution. If a population growing exponentially double in size in 3 years, what is the intrinsic rate of increase R of the population? Name important defense mechanism in plants against herbivory. Cardiac glycosides. The plant produces this poison to avoid the grazing cattle. An orchid plant is growing on the branch of a mango tree. How do you describe this interaction between the orchid and the mango tree? This is commensalism interaction. Mango is 0, unaffected. Orchid plant is positive, that is gets benefit. What is the ecological principle behind the biological control method of managing with pest insects? Define population and community. Population, a group of individual of a given species found in a geographical area where they sharing and competing for a similar resources, and they interbreed as well. So this is population. And community, more than one population, they make the communities. Define the following terms and give one example for each. Commensalism, same, orchid plant growing on a branch of mango tree. Parasitism, penicillium, Staphylococcus and penicillium. No, this is antibiotics. Parasitism, parasites like leaks, lice on humans, ticks on dogs. These are the parasitism. Or liver fluke on human body, or E. coli in human intestine. These are the parasitism. Or brood parasitism, that is cuckoo and crow. Mutualism, lichens, algae and fungi. And in mutualism, another is mycorrhiza, that is roots of the roots of the plants and fungus. This is the mycorrhiza. And cyanobacteria with the corolloid roots. These are the okay. So this is also a form of mutualism. Interspecific competition between two species, that is interspecific competition. Intraspecific within the species. Interspecific competition between the two species, right? With the help of suitable diagram, describe the logistic population growth curve. Logistic means S-shaped curve when the resources are limited, and it has lag, log and stationary phase, that is asymptotic phase. Okay, so this is logistic population growth curve. Select the statement which explain best parasitism. One organism is benefited. No. Yes, both the organisms are benefited in mutualism. One organism is benefited, other is unaffected. So one organism is benefited and other is not affected, that is commensalism, right? One organism is benefited and other is affected. It's competition, parasitism and predation. List any 3 important characteristics of a population and explain. As I told you, one of them and explain. So this is your chapter. Here it is again. I read it for you. Population grow through. Okay, where is the population? Okay, a population is a group of individuals of a given species sharing or competing for similar resources in a defined geographical area. Now, populations have attributes that individual organisms do not: birth rates and death rates, sex ratio and age distribution. Okay, the proportion of different age groups of males and females in a population is often presented graphically as age pyramid. Its shape indicates whether a population is stationary, growing or declining, right? So this is it, your chapter, that is ecology.